My name is Shelly Yo, and I'm the director for Moonwalk with Me.
And we were afraid she wasn't going to make it, but she did it!
My name is Laura Nix. I directed Walk, Run, Cha-Cha, and my producer Colette Sandstedt is here tonight.
I'm Sarah McLean, and I did Dragonfly, and the voiceover storyteller Gwen Carroll is here.
Oh, great! Also, I want to thank you all for putting up with Kit Bull and our sound issues, and I will say that film is available online, so go home tonight and watch the first beginning of it. That film is also nominated for Academy Award, as is Laura's film. So we'll be making great thoughts for you guys. Because this is focused on female direct. Well, actually, first let's do. If you wouldn't mind sharing the inspiration, what made you think of doing this film? Where did the idea come from, etc.? Why don't we start with Sarah at the end, and we'll work our way back.
Yeah, so Dragonfly is based on it. It is a true story. Everything that you saw happened. Leah was a friend of mine back in Rhode Island, and I met Celine from knowing Leah. She had passed, and at her memorial service, I had heard about this woman who was a big part of her life towards the end of her life. And I just went up to her and I, just said, thank you for everything you've done for Leah. And then ever since then, whenever I've gone back to Rhode Island, we go to that bench that you saw, that's a real thing in the forest, and we would just sit and we got to know each other and become friends and talk about Leah and just our lives. And 2 years ago, she told me this story about how she was celebrating Leah's anniversary of her death, and she told me that, and we're sitting there on the bench, and I'm just saying, this is an amazing story. This is just unbelievable that all this that happened, and then I'm also thinking, oh my God, I have to do something with this. It was just because it was such a good story, and I could just see it unfolding. So the next time I went back to Rhode Island, I had her tell me it again, and I recorded it. And then I sat on it for a year. I didn't know what to do with it, and then ultimately I just decided the only way I could properly tell it was through animation. Right. And then then I had my friend Gwen do the voiceover, and I just said, do exactly what Celine did, like the laughing, like everything. Just do what she did that you hear in the recording, and she nailed it.
Yeah, very much so. That's fabulous. Laura?
I met Paul and Millie when I found their dance studio, Lai, which is in Alhambra in San Gabriel Valley. I walked in on a weekday afternoon, and there was about 50 Asian people dancing the tango in the middle of the workday. And I was like, this is a beautiful world, and I have to figure out more about this place. So I started taking dance classes there. I was a student there for 1 year. So that I could get to meet people and understand more about the world. And I met Paul and Millie. I was really intrigued because the studio is all Eastern European professional ballroom instructors who are teaching Latin dance to folks from the Chinese community. And to me, that's when America's at its best. And it's a story to tell about America that I think we need right now in the face of so much anti-immigration hysteria and policies. And so I really wanted to be able to tell that story, but I wanted it to be more personal than just about the dance studio. So I started spending a lot of time with Paul and Millie and started filming. I've been filming with them for 6 years, and the New York Times and Concordia Studio heard that I was making this project, and they asked me if I would be willing to make some of it into a short for a series that they were doing about immigration. And so that's how this project came about, and that was when I decided to make it more personal and make it a love story.
Oh, that's wonderful. The picture at the end is just so...
They have a pretty amazing story.
Yeah. Shelly?
So Moonwalk with Me started because I wanted to make a film about my relationship with my father.
Is your father from the moon?
Yeah, he's from Korea and also the moon, so he goes back and forth between those two places. And I always had a fascination with the moon, so I wanted to use that as kind of a metaphor to explain how I dealt with his absence in my life. And so for my thesis, I really wanted to make this film for him.
Oh, lovely.
Thank
And what do you think of it?
He doesn't understand it, but it's okay.
Well, we understand it. Thank you.
First thing I've directed, I'm usually just more of an actor-writer, but I really wanted to tell the story to honor Leah, and so her kids could have something to remember her by, so it was just really wanting to have the story told, that I just was like, well, I'm gonna get it made one way or the other.
And as a result, you became a director and you made a movie. Yep. I love that. Laura, what about you?
I was a history major. I didn't study film, but I saw this movie called The Gold Diggers by Sally Potter when I was in college.
Oh, there we go, fans.
And I was like, oh wow, you can make movies like this. This is interesting. And I got really excited about that film, and I started watching more films by women. I started watching a lot of films by Chantal Ackerman, and eventually I went to school to study with Babette Mangold, who was her cinematographer on Jean Dielman, and that then became an addiction, and then I kept doing it. So it was, I went back and forth. I started by making experimental films, and then I started with documentary, and I've made one fiction feature, but I work mostly in nonfiction.
Wonderful. And Shelly.
Did you go to UCSD?
I did.
I went there too.
Okay.
Yay!
So you studied with Babette as well.
No, J.P. Gorin.
I did. I studied with him too.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think about that question a lot.
Oh, good.
And I think it started when I used to take SAT classes
Sure.
in the summer, and I think my SAT teachers were all screenwriters teaching, and they used to...
What, did you grow up here too?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so during our breaks, they used to just show us films and like talk about them, and I think I was just influenced by them.
Well, that's terrific, but what made you think you'd actually want to direct?
I guess after I graduated high school, I was looking for something that really bridged photography and music and writing, and that was the perfect medium.